When a gym or martial arts school owner asks, what's the best way to market my business? What they're usually asking is, should I run ads, post more on social media, do events, offer a discount, hire an agency, try SEO? And I get why people ask it that way, because when enrollments are slow, you start looking for the best tactic, the best move, the best platform, the best trick. But that's really the wrong frame, because the best way to market a local business like a gym or martial arts school is not about chasing the best tactic. It's about building the highest ROI source of new members. And in my opinion, there's no higher return on investment than installing a system that captures free local traffic from people already looking for your services. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying ads have no value. Ads can absolutely help, especially in the beginning, when nobody knows you and you have no visibility. Sometimes you need that jump start, but your business should immediately start working to capture the high intent search traffic already in your area. Why? Because not all leads are equal. That's the part that most owners miss. A person who finds you because they were already searching for martial arts, for example, is very different from a person who clicked an ad because the offer was good enough to get their attention. One is usually already mentally committed. The other needs to be persuaded. And that changes everything. The high intent lead usually buys faster. They waste less time. They need less chasing. They tend to stay longer and they refer more often. Why? Because they weren't talked into wanting martial arts. They already wanted it. They were already in the market. They were already looking for a place to train. And that's a completely different starting point. When the core of your membership is made of those people, the whole community gets stronger. The culture gets better. The commitment gets better. The referrals get better. Because now your business is built around people who came in with real intent, not people who had to be sold just to show up. And that matters more than most owners realize. Because the best marketing is not the thing that gets the most leads. It's the thing that gets the best members. That's the big difference. So here's the logic. If someone is already looking for group fitness classes, and your gym shows up, and what they see builds trust, then that lead should be worth more than a lead who was not even thinking about group fitness classes until your ad interrupted them. That doesn't mean that ad leads are bad. It means search leads are usually warmer. They come in with more intent. And intent is everything. I learned this the hard way with my CrossFit gym. When I was building that business, I ran ads. And sure, they brought people in, but the turnover was high. Why? Because CrossFit is hard. And a lot of people who responded to an irresistible offer to get in shape were not really committed to that kind of intensity. Yeah, they liked the idea, but they were not committed to the reality of hard training. But the people who found me walking by my box and seeing us suffer, or they came in because a friend referred them after sharing a story about the beating I gave them, those people stayed for years. They brought friends, they brought family, they became part of the culture. And that taught me something important. The source of the lead affects the strength of the member. And that changes retention, referrals, and community. One of my clients, Brandon Abdullah of TKO Karate, he's a great example of this. He had spent money on Facebook ads and was getting nothing useful from them. His website was producing 0 leads. Once he shifted towards capturing organic local search traffic instead of depending on paid ads, the school started getting consistent inbound calls and enrollments. The quality changed. The results changed. And that's the point. The best way to market a local business is not the tactic that creates the biggest spike this week. It's the system that captures the people already looking, builds trust, and turns that demand into real students. Because that kind of traffic compounds. You don't have to keep paying for every click. You don't have to keep persuading cold people. And you don't have to keep forcing attention. You're capturing demand that already exists. And that's a much better business. And again, I'm not anti-ads. Ads can help get things moving. But if the core of your membership is built mostly around ad-driven enrollments, you can run into a different kind of problem. You end up with more people who needed to be convinced than people who are already committed. And over time, that can weaken the culture. It can weaken retention. It can even weaken the referral engine because the strongest communities are built on people who wanted to be there before they ever walked in. That's why I believe the best marketing system for gyms or martial arts schools is the one that captures free local traffic first. Not because it's trendy, not because it sounds smart, because it tends to bring in the kind of student who buys faster, stays longer, and refers more often. And that kind of member makes every part of the business stronger. So if you're asking what's the best way to market a gym or martial arts school, here's a better question. How do I build a system that captures high intent local demand and turns it into long-term members? That's the real question. Because the best marketing is not just about getting attention. It's about building the kind of business you actually want to own. If you want more videos on how to think about growth the right way, like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to go deeper into what has to be in place to capture that local traffic consistently, book a demo with my team. If this hits home, drop a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.